While I'm walking back to grab myself a snack from the mini supermarket very close to the hostel, it just occurred to me, something of interest popped up. I overheard a conversation in the kitchen, common room, dining room area. Breakfast time this morning, there were a couple of guests who had got themselves an interrail ticket. So they were travelling around some countries in Europe, having paid up front for the ticket, thinking they wouldn't have to pay any extra and they'd just be able to jump on trains. Maybe you do or don't have to make some kind of reservation or pay for an additional small fee for particular high-speed trains. I'm not sure. I haven't done interrailing for 20 years. But the issue here was, having reached Poland, they were heading up to Lithuania, which you can obviously access with the train, as I did in reverse coming down from Kaunas the other day. What their query really was about was getting from Vilnius in Lithuania to Riga in Latvia. And they wanted to be able to use their interrail pass to use for a train to get to the border with Latvia, travelling north from Vilnius. Then, if necessary, if they couldn't change trains in that border town, which the hypothetical border town they weren't sure even existed, they then wanted to perhaps jump on a bus and then pay for that short bus journey before jumping on a second train somewhere in Latvia, which would get them to Riga. It's one of those things that you might just want to look at in detail if you're thinking of travelling in this part of Europe with the Baltics. There's no train service between Vilnius and Riga. There is a train service between Riga and Estonia, not between Riga and Pärnu, not yet. It's coming, but not yet. But between Riga and Tartu, which is a popular city in Estonia for many people. That does involve a change of trains at Valga on the border between Latvia and Estonia. But to be honest, a lot of people find it a quick, reasonably priced, smooth, convenient, regular operating system of bus routes and schedules, and like I say, reasonably priced to jump back and forth around the Baltics. So if you're coming from somewhere like Germany and you're thinking you really want to focus on coming through Poland, up and around the Baltics, then I would say you don't really want to buy an interrail ticket. I don't see the advantage of it. Other parts of Europe, yes, I get it, particularly if you're a student. It can be competitively priced. But for the flexibility and for the absence of rail services in some parts of the Baltics, I would put together a selection of inexpensive coach tickets. If you prefer to ride the train generally, like I do anyway, I'd be looking for the cheap individual fares for getting from somewhere like Berlin to Krakow, if that's how you might start your trip. And then I got the cheap train between Warsaw and Krakow the other day. I could have paid 3 times as much for a second class ticket, but I got the slightly slower train at a particular time, which obviously isn't popular, particularly for commuters. So it's a late morning train, and I'm paying a very reasonable price, under 60 zloty. And that suits me. So just one of those things worth mentioning because it cropped up, as I say, and they got through to some kind of query helpline. There's a system where you phone a number and speak to a human being who can perhaps help you with your query. Then you've got to wait. They weren't having to wait for a long time, but each time they were being put through to a different person. But it wasn't working out too well. The first, say, 3 help desk people who they got put through to, because those individuals couldn't speak English. And these people who were from Germany didn't expect the person to speak German and were saying, English, please. So another issue, if you've got to then query problems with your interrail pass over the phone with somebody, and there's a 3 out of 4 chance you can't communicate with them because of the language barrier. Do you want to be stuck with having to sort that issue out? Anyway, I'll leave you with that thought.